Vanchakalpas tubis kripa sindhu bheva patitanam pavanabhyo vaishnavabhyo namo namaha. Om Gyantiramandasya Yanjana Salakya Chakshumilitam Yana Tasmai Shri Guru Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadata Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Welcome, my darling God brothers and God sisters, God daughters, God sons, God aunties and God uncles. Hare Krishna on this beautiful day 5 of Kartik. Just a quick reminder, Shamarani, Haribol. A quick reminder that tomorrow, as well as on Friday, UK time will be on at 12:30 rather than normal time of 6 o'clock. Every Thursday and Friday, Tridandi Maharaj, Sripad Bhaktivedanta Tridandi Maharaj will be giving the presentation. And because he's coming from Mayapur, we adjust the time. So it's 12:30 Thursday and 12:30 on Friday. So yesterday we had some delicious Harikatha from Sripad Bhaktivedanta Nemi Maharaj, talking about Seva Kunj and Imlital, some beautiful Ras Leela and beautiful Leela in general and instructions. And by the way, yesterday there were some really great questions. I felt that there was more of a momentum of questions. So please, the questions really help the speaker give even more relishable kata. So if you're inspired, please ask a question by sending me a quick chat. Some people like to do it anonymously. If you're shy, no problem. And if you're not shy, then I'll just call on you and you can ask Maharaj the question directly. So today, I'm very grateful that Sripad Bhaktivedanta Ashrama Maharaj has agreed to contribute to this Kartik schedule. He is zooming in from Florida in the United States. And you all know him, so I don't need to give you an introduction. Everybody has a relationship with you, Maharaj, and we're looking forward to hearing your relishable katha. Hare Krishna.
Okay, I can start now?
Please.
Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyas Chakripasan Bhevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. First of all, I offer my most respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my Diksha Guru, Om Vishnu Padasto Tarasata Shishmad, Srila Gaur Govinda Goswami Maharaj. And again, I offer my most respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my sannyas and Shiksha Guru, Om Vishnu Padasto Tarasata Shishmad, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And again, I offer my most respectful obeisances on the lotus feet of my Param Guru Dev, Nitya Lila Pavishnu Om Vishnu Padasto Tarasata Shishmad, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, and Nitya Lila Pavishnu Om Vishnu Padasto Tarasata Shishmad, Srila Bhakti Pugyan Kesh Goswami Maharaj. I offer my most respectful obeisances to all Vaishnavas, Vaishnavis, and very, very grateful to be able to speak on Braj Mandal Parikram in this most auspicious month, Kartik. So we're so fortunate actually that Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Maharaj, he has preserved this tradition of doing Kartik Vrat and performing Parikrama. Because even amongst Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we'll see that this observance of Kartik Vrat and performance of Brajmana Parikram, that it's not done And there's not really much of an awareness. I mean, right now I'm staying in a ISKCON kind of a temple, right? And the devotees here, they have no understanding of what is Kartik Vrat, what you're supposed to abstain from. Um, they don't know what to speak of having your mind immersed in Vraj. So Srila Gurudev, this is one of his great legacies to us, is that we preserve this observance of Kartik Vrat and this remembrance of Vraj Lila. I was just speaking with a devotee earlier, a few days ago, very senior devotee, very, very senior devotee in years. He came to Srila Prabhupada in 19, maybe 65. No, 60, 67, no, 67, 66. About the same time as Shamrani did it. But he didn't take initiation. And they, he could not really grasp the conceptions of our Gaudiya line, could not grasp it. So we're so fortunate. Devotees come in the early age and they're able to enter. So now, my topics, I just jotted down. Akrura-ghata. I think the classes of Pujapatra Dandi Maharaj had been circulated where he's spoken on Akrura-ghata. So I want to come from a slightly different angle, focusing on Akrura and his relationship with Krishna and the Brijbasis. That Akrura, he is related to Krishna and Balaram, like uncle. And he was sent by Kamsa to Vrindavan to bring Krishna and Balaram so that Kamsa could have them killed by the elephant Kuvalyapida, if not then by Chanura and Mushtik. So when Akrura was coming into Vrindavan from Mathura, he's a devotee of Krishna, he's in Dasya Bhav, and he was meditating that they're the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that even though I'm coming as a messenger of Kamsa, they know my heart, they know that I'm their devotee. And he was thinking that when I see them, that I will pay my obeisances. I think he said like that, and that Krishna will touch my head, and then he'll embrace me, and then Baladev will take my hand, and he will walk me into the house. And as he was meditating, then he started to come to Vraj. And as he started to enter into Vraj, then just the mood of Vrindavan, the Madhurya of Vrindavan, started to enter into his heart. And he started, though he's a devotee of Dasya Ras in Aishwarya mood, but coming into Vrindavan, then the mood of Vrindavan just started to permeate. And then he came to a point, and we all know, we go there in Parikram, Madhavrat, you know, where there's Krishna's footprints. And Akrura, he jumped, he saw the footprints of the flag, thunderbolt, and then he jumped down from his chariot and he went and he embraced the footprints, and his tears just started to flow on these footprints. He was so much immersed now in this mood of Vraj. And then in this way, he came to Vraj. And though he had left in the morning, but because he was so much overwhelmed that it took him a long time before he actually got to Nandagaon. And then when he got to Nandagaon, then he saw Krishna and Balaram. Krishna, his sham complexion, and Balaram, his whitish complexion, so beautiful, so robust, and smiling so beautifully. And just as he had imagined, he went and Krishna took him and embraced him. And Balaram took his hands in his right hand and brought him into the house, and there they worshipped him and gave him in charity. Then he explained to them the situation that Vasudev, Devaki, they're in a very precarious situation. And that Kamsa, that his plans were so bad, even though he was inviting the Brijbasis to come for a festival, but actually his plans, his ulterior motives were really to kill Krishna and Balaram. So then it's explained that Baladev, then he got very angry, said, oh, so this is his plan, so we must go. So because Baladev said that we must go, then Krishna, his younger brother, automatically, he had to acquiesce and go along with Baladev. So they went and talked to Nanda Maharaj. Nanda Maharaj, he went and he spoke with his older brother, Upananda. And after discussing with Upananda and then the other brothers, Abhinanda, Sunanda, Nanda, Nandan, then they decided that tomorrow we'll go for the festival, we'll take milk products, so many things. So now all of Vraj, they started to hear that tomorrow Krishna and Balaram are going to Mathura. And Vraj became overwhelmed in separation. The cowherd men were preparing their bullock carts that they would go. But the other residents of Vraj, they were thrown in deep separation. The elderly ladies of Vraj, and what to speak of the elderly ladies, the gopis, they became so overwhelmed that they were in the forest and they were thinking, how can Krishna go there? That when he goes to see the Mathura Ramanis, that he will become so influenced by them that he'll forget us. So Srila Rupa Goswami, he has explained, and this has been explained by Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj, that there are three stages of viraha. Viraha means separation. There's bhavi viraha, bhut viraha, and bhavan viraha. That bhavi viraha, that this is going on at this point in the nighttime, that the gopis, they are in deep separation, thinking that Krishna will go to Vrindavan. One gopi says, don't worry, that when Krishna, he goes there, that he'll remember us. And by remembering us, that this will pull him back to Vraj. Another gopi said, what are you talking about? Don't you know that when he goes and he sees those Mathura Ramanis, and then they just look at him with their beautiful faces, that they will capture Krishna, and Krishna, he is so expert at going and tasting the love of so many different ladies, that he'll forget us and he will not come back. In the meantime, in the palace in Nandagaon, Nanda Maharaj, he went to tell Mother Yashoda. And when Mother Yashoda heard, now this part I'm getting from the commentary of Srila Jiva Goswami on these verses of 10th canto. When Mother Yashoda, she heard that Nanda Baba was planning to take Gopal to Mathura, then she went and she took Krishna and she said, you come with me. And Nanda Bhavan is a very, very big place, a palace. And she went and she hid him in one corner of a room. And she took some cloth and covered him over and said, you don't come out, you stay there. So this past time I'm telling that I used to tell, and then I told this to Gurudev, Sri Maharaj. I said, this Leela is okay? And Gurudev said, I used to tell this many years ago, very nice. So just to know that though you may not have heard this, it's actually, I've checked it with Sri Maharaj. So then in the nighttime, the gopis were just crying and crying and crying. So this is called Bhavi Viraha. So then Srila Rupa Goswami explains that there's also Bhut Viraha. That Bhut Viraha, that this is after Krishna has left Vrindavan and he's in Mathura, and the gopis, they're in separation. Where's this place? Where Brahma Gita is spoken. Uddhav Kari. And there, Radharani, she's crying, Marupa Kitava Bandhu, Maspri Sanzim Sapatnya, Kucha Vilita Mala, Kumkum Smasrinaha. That there, she's saying, as Uddhav, he has come, bringing a message from Krishna. And as Uddhav is going and he sees Radharani and he wants to touch the lotus feet of Radharani, then Radharani, she's also seen a bumblebee. And she's saying, oh, Madhupa Kitava Bandhu, that, oh, do not, you cheater, don't touch my feet. Don't touch my feet with your whiskers. that those whiskers, I can see that they're reddish, having touched the kumkum, which is coming from the breast of the gopis. And then when Krishna, he's embraced, not the gopis, the breast of the Mathura Ramanis. And when Krishna has embraced the Mathura Ramanis, then that kumkum has gone onto his garland. And now you've gone and you've tried to take the honey from that garland, and now it's mixed with the kumkum, and now you're coming to touch my lotus feet, you cheater. And when Srimati Radharani is going into this divya ummad, this very, very deep separation, that this is called Bhut Viraha. So there's Bhavi Viraha, Bhut Viraha, but highest is Bhavan Viraha. So what is Bhavan Viraha? So Srila Gaura Maharaj explains that in the morning time, the cowherd men are getting ready to go to Mathura, and Balaram, he's gotten, but nobody can find Krishna. So then Nanda Maharaj, he goes to Mother Yashoda and he said, oh Yashoda, you bring Gopal. I promise you that I will only be gone for 2 or 3 days and he won't be out of my sight. I promise you. Mother Yashoda then goes and fetches Gopal from where she has kept him hidden, takes his hand and puts in the hand of Nanda Baba, and then he leaves. Then they go down to where the horses and chariot is, and Akrura is ready. Krishna and Balaram are in the back of the chariot. And now the cowherd men, they're in the bullock carts behind. And now all of Vrindavan has come. All the elderly ladies have come. Even the animals have come. The deer that never come close, they've come, and all are crying and crying that Krishna is leaving Vrindavan. That Krishna is the prananath of all the living entities of Vrindavan. And all are completely thrown in separation. Yamuna is crying. The creepers are crying. Those that we see as sentient beings are all fully sentient and all fully in deep separation of the impending leaving of Shyam Sundar. Then the gopis, they're in the forest and they're saying that, oh, Krishna's about to go. What will we do? That we cannot live without him. That this Akrura, that his name is Akrura, non-cruel, but actually he should be called Krura, who is very cruel, because when he does this, then we'll all die. And then gopis at that point, all of Vraj, they knew that Krishna, he has his relationships with the gopis. And the gopis don't care. The gopis, their love is such that which is the most difficult thing to give up, which is their respect and chastity in society, they've completely thrown that away, but they never came out in public. But today, the gopis said, what is the use if we just let him go? That better we just go and we stop him. And then the gopis ran out from the kunjas and they started to cry for Krishna, crying. And the heat of separation, it became so intense at that moment that heat, it affected them, and the gopis, they fainted. But not only them, but all of Vrindavan was around the chariot, and they were all enveloped in separation. But now they became lifted to the mood of separation somewhat of the gopis, and they could not tolerate that heat of separation, and everybody fainted. Akrura, he has come from Mathura. He has no idea of the love of the Brijbasis, no idea of the love of the gopis. And now for the first time, he's coming in contact with the love of the gopis, he faints. That Baladev, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who's full of all strength, all equanimity, he faints. Nanda Baba, he faints. Mother Yashoda, now being enveloped by the mood of the gopis, she faints. All the elderly gopas, all the gopis, all the sakas, the animals, everybody completely faints, and Krishna is about to completely lose consciousness. But somehow or other, Krishna is the only one that has some semblance of consciousness, and he just gathers himself from the back of the chariot. He somehow staggers. He staggers down from the chariot, and the gopis' bodies are strewn around the chariot. And then he picks up some of the gopis, and then he takes them into a kunj. After some time, and kunj means forest grove. After some time, Akrura is the first one to regain consciousness. And then he looks, and all around him is devastation of Raj. That all are devastated. Ananda Baba, Upananda, Abhinanda, Sunanda, that the river Yamuna, the bees, they're beautiful bhajans. I say beautiful, but very, very heart-rending bhajans describing this mood of separation. And and at that point, he just reaches back and he resuscitates Baladev. He brings Baladev back to consciousness. He said, Balaram, we have to get Krishna because at any moment, Kamsa, he can perform the most heinous activities to Vasudev and Devaki. So Baladev is fully aware that Vasudeva is his father and that he's here in Raj, being taken care of with his mother. So then they get down and they see Krishna's footprint along with the footprints of some of the gopis who have now been taken by Sham Sundar. And they walk and they follow it and it goes to a kunja, a forest grove. And Baldev is the older brother. There's Maryada, the etiquette that the older brother will never go where the younger brother's with his beloveds. It's breaching etiquette. So he stops. But then Akrura calls out that, oh, Krishna, you have to come. You have to come because at any minute, Kamsa, he can kill your parents, Vasudeva and Devaki. He calls out to the gopis, please, you let Krishna come and you let him do this service for his parents. Krishna does not reply. Only the gopis reply. They say, Akrura, you are a liar. You're saying that the parents of Krishna, of our Sham Sundar, is Vasudeva and Devaki. Everybody knows that his parents are Nanda Baba and Mother Yashoda. You are a liar. And not only that, you are very cruel, that you want to kill us, that if Krishna leaves, he's the life of our lives. He's our prananath. We'll die. And he said, he's not coming out. And then Akrura and Baladev, they just stood there. Baladev was not getting involved. And Akrura is so intelligent, but he didn't know what to do. Then finally, Krishna, he came out. And then Krishna, coming out of the kunja, he looked at Akrura, and with his glance, he said everything to his uncle that we should go. Akrura immediately went and got the chariot and horses. The horses had even fainted, and now all of Raj had now come back to life. They were conscious, and they now changed from the scene from the near the palace at Nandagaon to the grove, and all had come there, and Akrura had brought the chariot with the horses, and now he put Krishna on the chariot, this time next to him, Baladev again on the chariot, and now the gopis, they were there, and they had now just completely declared to everybody their unalloyed, their love without any hesitation, that this is called Bhavan Viraha. That Viraha, where they, without any regret, they show to the world that Krishna is our dearly beloved. And at that time, Krishna, he gave a sign to Akrura, and Akrura, he started to move the chariot. Some of the gopis, now this part is what's told in Bhagavatam, some came and they threw themselves underneath the chariot, some in front of the horses, some held onto the reins, some around the chariot. And as they're going, Radharani and her group, the separation again became so intense that they fainted. And those gopis that were conscious, they were holding on to the chariot, holding on to Krishna's cloth, crying, Govinda Damo Dharamadaveti, Govinda Damo Dharamadaveti, Govinda Damo Dharamadaveti, Govinda Damo Dharamadaveti. They were singing, Oh Govinda, you who you maintain the senses, go. Go also means who maintains the gopis, the gopas, the land of Vrindavan, the residents of Vrindavan, that you are maintainer, you are sustainer. That how will you leave us like this? How that by leaving us like this, that you're not maintaining and sustaining us, you're killing us. And crying, the gopis were holding on to that chariot. And following. The chariot started to speed up. They're saying, oh, Damodar, you who are tied with the rope of love and affection, that you look at Mother Yashoda. Mother Yashoda was on the ground. Will you leave your mother like this? That you can leave us. That he's also known as Radha Damodar. So you can leave us, but can you leave your mother? And they were just crying. And Govinda Demo Madhava, the husband of the goddess of fortune, now you're leaving us very, very unfortunate. And they became stunned as the chariot picked up the speed and it went. And it became smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And they just saw the flag as the flag became invisible. So the chariot, it left Nandagown and it came to this place of Akrura-ghata. So Pujapad Tridani Maharaj, he's described that, so I won't get into so much detail, that at Akrura-ghata, then Akrura, he try and enter into the mood of what's going on. He has just been in the most intense situation. He's a warrior. He's a veteran warrior. But now coming to Vraj and coming in the midst of the love of the Brijbasis, and what to speak of the love of the Brijbasis, coming in contact with Bhavan Viraha of the Gopis, he is completely stunned. He's just, he cannot believe what's happened. So he stops at the Akrura-ghata and then he goes there. First, Krishna, he sips some water from the Yamuna, which is so pristine and clear. And then Akrura goes to chant his anik. So he goes into the Yamuna and then he's taking bath and then he's chanting his mantras, his anik. And then he sees that in the Yamuna, that now coming to him, because the perfection of one's mantra is that when you chant the mantra, your Ishtadev of your mantra appears to you. So that's amazing. When I chant my mantra, I fall asleep. But the perfection is your Ishtadev appears to you. So now Krishna and Balaram appear to him, chanting his mantra. And he was thinking, but I've just put the chariot underneath some trees so they could get some nice shade. So he comes out of the Yamuna and he looks and he sees Krishna Balaram, and then he doesn't say anything. He goes back and then he begins to chant his mantra again. And then this time, rather than seeing his Istadev, he sees Ananta Shesh, who's Baladev, who's reclined. And then on Ananta Shesh, he sees Lord Vishnu, who's Krishna, in all their splendor, all their glory. And tears just start to flow from his eyes. He's in the water and he's paying obeisances to the vision that he's seeing in the water, right? And then he comes out and then he just starts to offer numerous prayers, which I will not say because I don't know, but he offers them that, oh Lord Vishnu, that you are the maintainer of this cosmic creation, to Ananta Shesh, that you are maintaining everything, that everything is resting on your hoods. And he offered so many prayers. And then after offering these prayers with tears in his eyes, because his mourning has just been so incredible. And then he comes to the chariot and then Krishna looks at him in a very innocent smile. And Krishna says, oh, uncle, what's wrong with you? I mean, look at your face. It looks like if you've seen something amazing. And then he says, if one has seen you in Balaram, what is amazing to see again? That this is everything amazing is there within your forms. And then in this way, he gets on the chariot after getting the mercy of actually Kamsa sent him to Vrindavan. So Kamsa actually gave him such mercy that he was able to witness the love of the Brijbasis, and not only the love of the Brijbasis, but the love of the Gopis. So it's explained, Vrindavanam Prityaja Padam Ekam Nagachati, that Krishna and Balaram, Rohini Nandan Balaram, and Nanda Nandan, Krishna, that they never take one step out of Vrindavan. So at this place, Akrura-ghata, this is the dividing point between between Vrindavan and Mathura. So now Matharesh Krishna and Matharesh Baladev, they continue on the chariot, and then unseen to the general, to not general, who's in Vrindavan is general, but unseen to others. Then Vrindavan Krishna and Rohini Baladev, then they stay in Vraj. So this place of Akrura-ghata, what time is it? I think we'll only do Akrura-ghata today. So Akrura-ghata also, very wonderful pastime took place with Nanda Baba. That Nanda Maharaj was performing the Kadashi, and he was doing Nirjala Kadashi, and the Kadashi ended quite early. It was still dark. So he went to Yamuna to take bath. He went with some of his attendants. He's a king. And then some of the men of Varuna Dev, they took him, and they took him to Varuna Lok. Tridani Maharaj has explained this. And there, Varuna Dev, then those who went to take care of Nanda Baba, his attendants, they started to cry. When any mishap happens, they cry for Krishna. They cry for Gopal. And Joe Gopal was far away. Nandagaon is quite some distance from Akrura-ghata. But Krishna immediately came on the scene, and then he followed. Tridani Maharaj said that Jiva Goswami, I haven't read myself, he said, Jiva Goswami said, there's a tunnel that goes to Varuna Lok. And there, when Krishna, he came to Varuna Lok, Varuna Dev was so happy. He said that, oh, that my life has become successful, that now that I have your darshan. And then he was apologizing, that I apologize for my man who kidnapped your father, but still it has brought to me such auspiciousness to have your darshan. And then they worshipped Krishna with such opulence. And then Krishna, he took Nanda Baba, and then he took him back. When Nanda Baba went back to Vraj, he was telling the Brijbasis that, oh, you cannot believe what happened, that we went to the abode of Varuna, and Varuna Dev, he was worshiping Krishna's Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then the Gopas were saying, oh, Nanda Baba, we told you that Gagamuni, he said that this boy, that they're like Narayan. But I tell you that maybe he's Krishna, maybe he's Narayan himself, you see. So they were saying like this, and then they went to Krishna, oh, Lala, we want some benediction. That you are so great, we want some benediction, oh Lala, that we're like your father, your uncle. And then Krishna said, what do you want? One Gopa said, oh, I want to go to taste what it is in Brahmani effulgence. And then another said, oh, I want to taste what it is, the bliss of going to Krishna Lok. And then Krishna thought, okay, I'll give them. So Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur explains that Krishna was thinking like this, that the Brijbasis, they are living in Vraj. And what to speak of the opulence, and they're amazed at the opulence of Varuna Lok. What to speak of the opulence of Varuna Lok, that even Vaikunta, that if you take all the opulence of Vaikunta and you put it all together, it cannot measure one speck of dust of Vraj. And they're Brijbasis. They're rolling in the dust of Vraj, but they don't appreciate how exalted that they are. So they want this, so let me grant them. So then he brought them to this place, Brahmarad, and then he dipped them in the water, and there he gave them a taste of what is to go to Brahmlok, the Brahmi effulgence, and then he took them to Krishna Lok, where Krishna, he's worshipped with Aishvarya as Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then the Brijbasis, the Gopas, they saw, hey, there's our Gopal, but he's being worshipped like Narayan. And they saw that there were the 4 Kumars, Prahlad Maharaj. There, Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur says that Lord Brahma was there, Shivji, that they're spiritual forms, that they have their forms in this material world and they have their spiritual forms. That they're worshiping Krishna in Krishna Lok. And they were like amazed. They said, "Oh my God, this is our Krishna." But they said, "But he has no hunger. He has no thirst." And then they thought, "Yeah, this place is not so interesting." They said, "Oh, Gopal, we want to go back to Vraj." And then Gopal, then he took them from Krishna Lok, he took them back to Vraj. So the point that's being made here is that even though the Brijbasis, they hear that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Purnamasi is like guru for the Brijbasis. And sometimes she tells them that, oh, Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the gopis in separation, they may repeat that, but it doesn't really enter into their real consciousness or psyche that he's Supreme Personality of Godhead. And even when they themselves say and speak it, like the gopas here, say, oh, Krishna, you're Supreme Personality of Godhead. Oh, la la. Oh, you take us up there. I want this, I want that, I want this. And they're acting with him still as their little boy. That if really they saw Lord Narayan, they would pay their obeisances, they would offer so many prayers, etc. So this mood of respect, of veneration, it never, Aishwarya, it never enters into their psyche. And even when they go and they see Krishna, they go to the spiritual world and they see that Krishna is God, but still it never really enters into their psyche that he is Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's just like a passing thing that comes and it goes. But rather, the sweetness of Madhurya is so thick and so overwhelming that they're always hankering for that, always hankering for that. So this pastime, this also took place here. And also my time, I got 20 minutes. And Tridani Maharaj, he also explained that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he would come, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to Braj, that he would come to this place and that he would spend the night. And during the daytime, then he would be in Imlitala. That Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he has come to taste the moods of Srimati Radharani. But coming here to Braj, then the Sham mood started to manifest more and more. So that it would disturb his ability to dive into the ocean of Radha Bhav. So then he was not staying here in Braj for so long, but then he left. So then from this Akrura-ghata, then if you walk some 100 yards and then you start to go up a little hill, a little path. If you have the Parikram book, then that path is there and it's going up. And then you see a temple. The outside wall does not look so renovated, but when you get up, there's a very beautiful temple. And this is the temple of the Yajna-patnis. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, Maharaj, I'm giving class. Maharaj, I'm in the middle of a class. So the Yajna-patnis. So the Yajna-patnis pastime goes that Krishna, Baladev, and the cowherd boys, they're in the area, and the cowherd boys were feeling hungry. They said, "Oh, we're being attacked by a demon of hunger." So then what happened? So then Krishna, he said, there's some Brahmins performing a yajna, that you go there and you ask them for some food not on my behalf, you ask for Baldev, because Baldev is a Kshatriya, they'll give more respect. They see me just like a cowherd boy. He's thinking like that, but not speaking. So then, as so and the Brahmins did not pay them heed, and came back, and the boys were feeling deflated. Krishna smiled. He says, like, you go out and going for some alms, going for some bhiksha. Some people they'll give, and some people they will not give. That's how it is. So don't be so discouraged by this. It's just like when we go out. Anyway, I don't want to deviate. So then he said the of the Brahmin, but tell them they're hungry, because he knew of the Brahmin. So then the boys went, and then they start tell the Brahmanis that, oh, that Krishna and Balaram, that they're in the forest. And as soon as they heard that Krishna and Balaram in the forest, then they became so excited. They said, Krishna and Balaram, they're in the forest? And the cowherd boys, seeing that these ladies now had become so excited, then they said, yes, and actually Krishna's hungry, and he sent us to get something to eat. Even though they weren't supposed to say that, but as soon as they said that, then the Brahmanis, then they became so perturbed. They said, Krishna's hungry and we're still standing here. We're still sitting here. We haven't fainted. Fire on us, fire on us. And immediately they got all so much food. It's described the 4 different types of food, those foods which are licked, drunk, chewed, and sucked. And they got they put them in baskets, and immediately they started to run out their house. But then their fathers started to stop them. Their older sons, those husbands that were not in the yagya, they tried to stop them. But immediately they just completely just flew them away. And they were just running to the forest to go and meet with Sham Sundar. So, they're running to the forest to go and meet with Sham Sundar. So when they got to the forest, they got to a grove, and a Ashok grove. They got to the Ashok grove, and there they saw Sham Sundar, and Sham Sundar was in such a beautiful pose. It's described in Srimad Bhagavatam. Shamam hiranya paradim vanamalya baha atu pravala nata veshamanu vratamse yasta hastam itarena namabjam kanot palaka kapalopa jahasam. That Shamam Hiranya Paridim Vanamalya Baha, that they saw Sham Sundar with his Sham complexion, Shamam Hiranya, and he has his Sham complexion, but contrasting was Hiranya, his gold clothes. Paridim Vanamalya Baha, and he had a very beautiful garland with forest flowers that were hanging down to his knees. And Bahadatu Pravala Nattavesham. He had his peacock feather adorning his head, and he was standing in his 3 pose form, but he was leaning on the shoulder of one of his friends. And then with his other hand, he had a lotus flower, and he was just twirling the lotus flower. And here was kissing his cheeks very sweetly, and his cheeks were adorned with a very beautiful smile, and his eyes were glittering and glancing, throwing glances, arrows at the Brahmanis. These arrows going into the eyes and the hearts of these Brahmin ladies. The Brahmin ladies took those glances and they enveloped those glances, took them into their eyes and into their hearts, and embraced them very tight, and they were just standing there stunned. Krishna was still twirling this lotus flower and smiling and seeing these ladies now just standing in front of him like statues. Their hairs were standing on end, tears were flowing from their bodies. They were stunned. All types of astic vibes were manifesting from them. And Krishna said, "Oh, ladies, what do you want? Why have you come here?" And the ladies, they could not reply. It's explained that his twirling of the lotus flower was very significant. That, oh ladies, that your lotus hearts, lotus-like hearts, are now captured by me in my hand. And his twirling is that now you are mine, and I can do with you as I like, which was really the desire of his, to be his. Another meaning given by the Acharyas is that, oh ladies, that your love for me is so super excellent that you have given up everything. You've given up your husbands, you've given up your family, you've given up your position in society, that now you've captured my heart. And now this lotus flower is like, my lotus heart is yours, and you can do with me as you want. So finally, the ladies coming back to state, then they started to interact with Shanda, and they brought all these foodstuffs that they brought for him, Baladev, and for the cowherd boys. Then after some time, then Shamsundar, he told them that, oh, you have to go back. And they said, but we can't go back. One reason that they couldn't go back was because Krishna had completely taken their heart. So how was it possible that they're going to go back? They said, we can't go back. And he said, but you have to go and you have to assist your husbands in performing the yajna. And they said, if we go back, that we will be so ridiculed by our husbands, so ridiculed by our family members, even the neighbors, that now we're completely rejected by society because we've left them all and we've come to you. We can't go back. This was something that Krishna, he had told the gopis when the gopis came to him during Ras dance. So then Krishna said that don't worry, that you go back and will be arranged by me, and the devas will give them message that actually you are most exalted in your surrender to me. So Krishna, he told them, he said that, and I'm a cowherd boy, and you're Brahmanas, you're Brahmanis. So I play with cowherd people. I do not play with Brahmanis. This is beyond me. Your caste is too high for me. So in this way, Krishna, he's explaining a very, very subtle thing. That one, because my time is up, then I have to explain quickly, that one who wants to enter into Vraj, then their requirements. Later on, I think you will go to Belvan. And in Belvan, Lakshmi, she wanted to enter into Ras dance. And though she had this desire, she had a female body, but she could not enter. Why? She was not willing to not only, first of all, she had to take birth as a gopi. She was willing to do that. These ladies, they had Brahmin bodies. That to be able to be a maidservant of Sham Sundar, then one has to take birth in Vraj, in Gop caste, and there in the association of the gopis, Nityasiddha gopis, then one's mood will become refined. So these Brahmanis, they had the desire. We also have the situation with Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva, he wanted to enter into Ras dance. He got the body of a gopi, but he didn't have the moods. He did not have the moods, nor did he have the caste, so he could not enter. So these ladies, they had some mood, actually. They had some mood. And how did they get this mood? It's explained that the pan wala, those who were selling pan, those who were selling flowers, that they were coming from Mathura and going to Vraj. And that when they were coming back to Mathura, then they will speak Harikatha. And Harikatha about the very beautiful pastimes of Krishna, then it entered into the hearts of these Brahmin ladies. And these Brahmin ladies, they developed this rati for Shyam Sundar. But the rati that they developed is a very special rati, and this is not described openly. That you have three types of rati in Maduras. You have Sadharana rati, Samanjasa rati, and Samatha rati. Samanjasa rati Sadharana rati is the rati of Kubja. There she has desire for her own enjoyment. That Samanjasa rati is the rati of the queens of Dwarka. And the queens of Dwarka, they're attached to their position as chaste wives, as chaste queens, that they cannot give up that position. Just like Lakshmi, that she was told that, okay, you take birth from the womb of a gopi, and then you perform the menial task of a gopi, and then you get married, and then you leave your husband, and in the dead of night, you go and you meet with Krishna. Then Lakshmi, she said, oh, I cannot do that. I cannot do that. I cannot become unchaste. She's the best of chaste Brahmanis, is Lakshmi. So she's given that position of being in Bailvan. She's performing austerities, and at least she's there as a golden hair on the chest of Krishna. But she's finding it, oh, that I will give up my chastity, give up my husband, and do this. Oh, she can't do it. But these ladies, they did it. So the rati, the sprout of rati that they have, though it's not directly stated, this is Samatha rati. This is the rati of the gopis, which goes up to Mahabhav. But they have not become mature. And in this life, they cannot do so with Brahmin bodies. So, Srila Gurudev, Srila Narayan Maharaj, if you read in the Rajmando Parikram book, let me see, where is it? He gives a hint, actually. He says, Yagestali. Anyway, he says there that the ladies, these ladies who are wives of the Brahmanas, that they were not able to go and stay with Krishna in the forest of Vrindavan. Because when Krishna, he told them that I cannot be with you, you're wives of you're Brahmanas. And then they said, oh, so if that's an obstacle for you, so we won't come to the village, we'll stay in the forest. And when there's some tulsi leaves which have fallen from your garland, or some tulsi leaves which have which on your garland, and when you embraced the gopis and it mixed with their kumkum, we'll pick up those tulsi leaves. And we'll serve those tulsi leaves that will be like Vandevis, will be forest ladies. But please don't send us back. We want to be in Braj. We want to be with you. They had this desire, but they could not, because they had this Brahmin body. So Srila Narayan Maharaj is in a future life that they will have to perfect this rati. They'll have to take birth in the body, in the gop caste, and then in the association of Nityasiddha gopis, they'll have to develop their anurag, and then their mahabhav, and then they will be able to enter into these, their desires will be fulfilled. Srila Gurudev, he hints this here. So now it is, it's 2 o'clock. So my time's up.
Haribol Maharaj, yes.
What do you reckon? My time's up?
Actually, you can go for another 3 minutes, Maharaj.
Go for another 3 minutes, okay.
If you have that, otherwise we can stop now, whichever.
Yeah, I mean, we can speak, okay. So then we've spoken on Akrura-ghata, we've spoken on Yagestali. Okay, so we got Bhandiravana, we got Mana-sarovara. So I'll do Bhandiravana.
Or would you like a quick question instead?
No.
Okay.
But does anybody have any questions?
No, you go ahead, Maharaj.
Okay. So Bhandiravana. Bhandiravana, there are many, many pastimes there, but I've only got 3 minutes, so I will just tell the one pastime, which is the wrestling match, my favorite. That Krishna, with his gopas, they were boasting that, oh, that our Sham Sundar, he's defeated so many demons. He's defeated this Putana when he was so young. Which other demon? Agasura, so many. And then one of the gopis were there and said, oh, but he can't defeat Shrimati Radhika. And then they said, what? He can't defeat Radhika? That very easily, Krishna, he can defeat Shrimati Radhika. That this young girl, that she's no match for him. So then word went to Shrimati Radhika and her Sakis. Lalita said we should immediately arrange a wrestling match with that Lampat, that he is becoming too proud now. So then they arranged a place, which is this place, Bhandiravana, Bhandivat, a time and a day. And so the wrestling match, the arena was surrounded by a hedge, actually. And Radharani was on one side, Krishna was on the other side. Krishna was performing his sit-ups, and Srimati Radharani was on the other side, and she was with her Sakis. And very, very tender, very tender. And she was in wrestling garb. And as she was preparing, then a breeze came and just caught the corner of her cloth. And the breeze became intoxicated by her moods. And the breeze just started to waffle up above the hedge and it started to go across the arena. And there, Krishna, he was doing his squats or something up and down. And then that little breeze just went and entered into his nostril. And immediately, Krishna, he just fell down. And then Madhumangal, his trainer, said, hey, Sham, are you okay? He said, yeah. The sand was slippery. The sand was slippery. It's okay. But even before the match, he had already been knocked out. The result was already foretold. So then when it was time for the match, then Madhumangal told Sham, you do not be light because this is a young girl, that you be very, very hard with her, very, very hard. And then Radharani, she came and Radharani's face was covered with a shawl and she was in like wrestling type of attire. And at that time, Ananga Ranga Mangalam Prasanga Bangura Bruvam Sasir Brahmam Sasabamam Drigantavana Patani Ananga Ranga Mangalam. That this Ranga means also wrestling arena. It can also mean place of loving pastimes, arena of loving pastimes. But Ananga means where Radha and Krishna are meeting in a most beautiful way and becoming one. Ananga also means Cupid. Ananga Ranga Mangalam. And in this wrestling arena is Mangalam, is most auspicious. In Bhandiravana, in this very beautiful forest, with this beautiful banyan tree, which is extending its branches across the Yamuna. Ananga Ranga Mangalam, Prasanga Bangura Bhavam. And then here there's this Sangha, but this Prasanga, this meeting of hearts of Radha and Krishna, but now in the guise of a wrestling match. Prasanga Bangura Bhavam. And then Radharani, she came and Krishna, he just seeing the form of Srimati Radharani, her golden complexion, and that golden complexion, it oozed out of her attire, and the arena, it became golden. But coming to Krishna, who has a sham complexion, and the sham complexion mixed with the golden complexion, and what do you have? You have green. And at that point, Sham was looking, and he was looking at the beauty of Srimati Radharani, who he could not even see her face. And he was calling, oh Madhu, the how sweet, how sweet. And then at that time, Srimati Radharani, she lifted the veil from her over her head, and then she threw so many sidelong glances at Sham, and it went into his eyes and into his heart, and he was just going, "Oh Madhu, oh Madhu, oh Madhu," and then he just fainted. He was just knocked out by the sidelong glances of Srimati Radharani. So here in Bhandiravana, this is showing that for eternity, that the love, the prem, the bhav of Srimati Radhika is so superior to Sham Sundar that Sham Sundar not only pays obeisances to Srimati Radharani and begs for love, but he becomes completely knocked out by this Madanakya Mahabhav of Srimati Radharani. Srimati Radharani ki jai. Okay, so Mansarovar we did not do. I think there was some other place. Mansarovar, only Mansarovar. So that's okay because Tridani Maharaj, or I think it's um, Tapasvi Maharaj, he spoke on Mansarovar. But Mansarovar is during the time of Ras Leela. Then this is autumn Ras during this season, and so many gopis are there, and these are gopis from so many different groups who perform sadhana for thousands and thousands of births, and then and by their austerities, by their bhakti, and by their seva, they have gone through the stages of nishta, ruchi, asakti, bhav, and in the stage of bhav, they have their bhav has matured to a point where they're coming to the point of prem ras. And at that time, their bodies cannot contain that prem which is there. They can only go up to the high state of bhav, and then they leave their bodies and then they take birth in the womb of gopis. And there they get trained up in the association of Srimati Radharani, Lalita, Rup Mandri, and especially one's Guru Saki. That's why the Guru should be a Saki in that land. So these gopis, after so much sadhan, so much seva, now they enter into Vrindavan, and not only into Vrindavan, that Krishna he's played his flute, and playing his flute, it enters into their ears, and enter into their ears, then immediately whatever they're doing, that some are taking care of babies in the home, some are putting on clothes, some are of feeding the family, that they drop everything and they run to the forest. Why? Is it because of the love that they have for Krishna, that they want to enjoy with Krishna? No, never. That these gopis, the specialty of Samatarati is that they do not have desire for their own pleasure, but they only have desire to fulfill Krishna's pleasure. So their rati has merged with Krishna's desire. And so when that desire, it manifests in them, it's only manifesting because it's coming from Krishna, not from them. So they're running, knowing that Krishna, he's crying, his flute playing, he's crying for their love. Krishna is in this full moon night that has just passed. He's in a very pathetic mood of separation and crying, and they leave everything behind and they enter into the rastas. Probably you've done this already, this kata. So at that point, the gopis who are in the rastas, they are thinking how fortunate they are. Srimati Radharani, she's seen. All the gopis are thinking that Krishna is dancing only with them. But Srimati Radharani, she is able to see by the influence of praying, by the influence of Yogamaya, that Krishna is dancing with all these gopis simultaneously. And not only is he dancing with all these gopis, but that they're thinking of their good fortune, of their sobhagya. Because they're thinking of their sobhagya, Srimati Radharani, she develops man, okay? She develops man. So we come to Mansarovar. This man is not because that Krishna is dancing with all these gopis. It's because she's thinking that they're not qualified to be in the Ras dance because they have some other, they're thinking of their own happiness. And to be qualified to enter into Ras, then one's Samatarati should be so mature that there's no inkling, no scent, no ganda of one's own desire. So she leaves the Ras dance. So this is the goal that we want to achieve. That we want to achieve that stage where there's not even a scent of our own desire. Right now, myself, I have so many desires, so many gross desires. And I have the gall to think that I want to achieve that state where there's not even a scent of my desire. Yes, because this is a gift that our Guru Parampara and Srila Narayan Maharaj has given to us. We're very bold to want this. I'm in a house where I cannot speak this. I'm freaking people out speaking this Harikatha right now, I tell you. But this is our birthright. This is what Gurudev has given us. This is who we are, actually. This is our essence by mercy of Gurudev. So Srimati Radharani, she's developing man. But this man that she's developing is very merciful. Why is it merciful? Because when she leaves the Ras dance, then she goes to Mana-sarovara. But also, when she leaves the Ras dance, what happens is that the gopis now they go and they start to search for Srimati Radhika. And then they find Srimati Radhika at Sringavat. You probably discussed this Harikatha already. And then in Sringavat, then they're discussing Jayati te dikam janmana vraja shrayata indira shashvaratrahi. They're doing kirtan. Who's doing the kirtan? Radharani is doing the kirtan, and they're doing the chorus. Is when you do kirtan, you have somebody leading and you have the others are following. Radharani is doing the kirtan, and Radharani's kirtan is full with so much mahabhav that they are in association. That's why when you do kirtan, you should be in association of a pure devotee doing that sankirtan, because then you get the benefit of their bhav. So they're getting the benefit of Radharani's bhav. So she developed this man so that this situation, Yoga Maharaj arranged that this situation will happen, that they will end up in her association, developing her mood of separation, and then their rag and their anurag will now come to the highest level where they can now enter, now they're qualified to enter into Ras dance. So this man of Srimati Radharani, this is her jewel of service to Krishna. And here she's even performing this service for us, because that time, who knows when we become qualified, then this situation will happen where we will obviously feel so happy to be in this situation. And Radharani, she said, oh, but actually as manjaris, the specialty of the manjaris is the manjaris don't enter into the Ras dance, but they are there. The manjaris are there witnessing and looking to serve. The manjaris are looking to serve in so many different ways. So in this way, the glories of Mana-sarovara, that there's different types of man. There's Udatta man and Lalit man. This man is coming right from the beginning of Rati. Rati is the beginning of praying. So you have that Rati, which is a Rati, which is the Rati of Chandravali, and then you have the Rati, which is the Rati of Srimati Radharani. And then in between, you have other types of rati, the rati of Shamla Saki, the rati of other gopis. So there are different types of rati. So now, when rati develops into prem, then has sneha. The sneha of Chandravali is Grita sneha. The sneha of Radharani is Madhu sneha. So then we aspire to serve Radharani through Lalita, through Rup Manjari, through our Guru Saki. In our case, Raman Manjari. So Raman Manjari has got this Madhu Sneha. And then when this Madhu Sneha, it intensifies, it boils, it becomes thick, and it starts to flow. then that Madhu Sneha in its thickened, hot position, it manifests as Man. And the Man, this Madhu Sneha manifests as Lalit Man. And now the Lalit Man of Srimati Radharani, which is coming through her Sakis and through her Manjaris, then here it is described in Ujjwal Nilamani. Then I'll end. It says, when Madhu Sneha becomes turbulent due to its tendency to boil over, it conveys unrestrained and extremely sweet crookedness. What is the sweet crookedness? The sweet crookedness is that within the mood of Srimati Radharani, she so much wants to meet Krishna because that is Krishna's desire. Not it's her desire, it's Krishna's desire. But though internally she wants to meet because it's Krishna's desire, externally, she says, I don't want to see that black fellow. I don't want to see that cheetah. Anything that reminds me of him, I do not want to see. That you cover my eyebrows, you cover the cage, which is black. She goes outside, she sees the cloud. Oh, I don't want to see that sham cloud. Out, out. And then she leaves, she runs inside. And then Udgurna comes. What is Udgurna? We're coming into something different. That then she said, oh, Saki, that sham, you know where he is? I said, where is he? He's in my heart. I can't get rid of him. That I want to get rid of him, but he's in my heart. And then this man, it goes into so many, it's crooked. It says that it has a crookedness. And it is meandering and manifesting in so many ways. So this Mana-sarovara, Krishna, he goes to, when Radharani, she leaves the Rastan, she goes to Mana-sarovara. So sometimes we see that, that he's gone to Mana-sarovara, and sometimes he goes to Imli Tala, because different Ras dances, then different leelas are going on. So he crosses the Yamuna, and there he goes and he's begging mercy of Srimati Radharani. And if you go now to Mana-sarovara, then there's the temple, and in that temple there's the picture where Krishna, he's bowing his head. Dehi pada palava mudaram, that he's offering his peacock feather, he's offering his flute, and he's taking his head and he's putting it on the lotus feet of Krishna. And he says, oh, please, let the red lock of your lotus feet be my ornament. And Mana-sarovara is so beautiful that even now today, you go outside of the temple and then you have the kunjas, and you have the little small kunjas of where Radha and Krishna, they would meet. And within those kunjas, you have the nikunjas inside. And even today you can go, and these kunjas are there manifest very, very sweetly. And then in front, then there's the lake, Mana-sarovara. Shri Mana-sarovara ki jai. Okay, so any questions?
We've run out of time, Maharaji.
Okay, I know.
Beautiful.
I know.
That was very uplifting and absorbing, inspiring, and completely delicious. So thank you so much for.
I forgot about my flu.
Yes, I think you remembered you forgot about your flu and you remembered the flute.
Yeah.
Maharaj, would you like to sing Dambarastakam, or would you like a devotee to sing?
No, let another devotee sing. My Dambarastakam is not very good.
Okie dokie. Is Radhika Didi there? Or
anybody? Madhavrat.
Or Madhavrat, yeah. Where's Madhavrat gone?
He's there.
Yeah, I can do it, but I just have to go get my book. So just one.
Okay.
Sure,
okay, no problem.
While Madhavrat's getting his book, just a reminder again, tomorrow, 12:30 UK time, which is 7:30 EST for those of you in the States, and anyone on the continent, that's 1:30. And apologies if I missed out your country or continent.
Where are you going tomorrow?
12:30, we're going to Zoom, and we're Zooming with Tridandi Maharaj in Mayapur.
No, but I mean, where are the places?
Oh, the places are...
We're going to Dauji.
Okay, Dauji. Okay, Dauji.
and some
Hold on a
others.
second.
We're
I'm
also
just going to
going
get my
to-
songbook also.
Yeah.
Or okay, 1 minute. I'll be right back.
It's Dauji. Let me just tell you.
Nidhuvan, Gokulananda, and
No,
Radharaman.
that's another day. So tomorrow
Tomorrow's day 6, isn't it?
day 6, which is Dauji, Brahmargat, Madhuvan, Gokul, and Raval.
Oh, okay. That's it's different on the WhatsApp. But,
Oh,
on the WhatsApp, it says Nidhuvan, Gokulananda, and Radharaman.
or maybe okay. Maybe they've got the dates. Anyways, we'll work it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is everybody ready to chant?
Yes. Can you adjust the volume, Prabhu?
What up?
Up, yeah.
Hang on.
Like something you did the other day was perfect.
Yeah, hang on a minute. I've just got to go. It keeps going down for some reason. Haribol.
That's good. That's good.
Got it?
Great. Thank you.
Okay, so if everybody mutes and then, or do you want, yes, like that. Huh? Namami Shwaram Sachidananda Rupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Jama Yashoda Biyo Ladhavamana Paramristana Yan Namamishwaram Sachidananda Rupam Lasat Rudantamohunetra Yugmamrijantam Karamboja Yugmena Satankanetra Mohoswasakampa Trirekantakanta Stita Graivadamo Param Namamishwaram Sachidananda Rupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Itidrik Swalilabhi Ananda Kunde Swagoshami Majantam Akyapayantam Tadiye Sitageshu Bhakte Jitadvam Puna Prematasta Namamishwaram Sachidananda Rupa Lasat Kundala Gokule Brajama Param Devamoksham Namokshavadimba Nachanyam Vrineham Varesadapiha Idam Tevapunata Go me manasya virastadiman. Namamishwaram Sachidanandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokul Idam te mukam bojam avyaktanile Britam kuntala isnikta raktascha gopya Mohoschumbitam bimba raktadarame Mana-sarovara alam shalam Namamishwaram Sachidanandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Bhajaman Namo Deva Damodarananta Vishnu Prasida Prabodhuka Jalabdi Magnam Kripadristi Bristyati Dinam Bhatanu Grihaneshama Magya Medyakshitish Namamishwaram Sachidanandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Bhajaman Kuberatmajo Patamudvevayatvat Tvayamachito Bhakti Bhajo Krito Cha Tata Prema Bhaktin Swakame Prayacha Namokshe Grahom Estitamodane Namamisharam Sachidanandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Namaste Studamne Spuradipti Damne Tvadyadharayata Vishwasya Dhamne Namoradhikaye Tvadiya Priyaye Namoradhikaye Tvadiya Priyaye Namo Anantalilaya Devaya Namamishwaram Sachidanandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Bhajaman Namo Radhikaye Tvadiya Priyaye Namo Radhikaye Tvadiya Priyaye Namo Nantavilaya Devaya Namo Nantavilaya Devaya Damodara Radha Damodara Damodara Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Damodara Radha Damodara Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Jai Jai Gurudev 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 Jai Jai Gurudev Shri Damodarastakam Ki Jai Shri Kartik Vrata Ki Jai Shri Uja Vrata Niyam Seva Ki Jai Nitai Go Premanande Hari Hari
Hari Bol. All right, thanks, Madhavana.